Hey everyone, it's a beautiful day here in California. Let me just show you around where we're at. We're on the 33, which you can see winding down the mountain behind me. And someone at Magnuson Superchargers was dumb enough to hand me the keys to their C7 Corvette. So this is a 2014 C7. It is, which is something I think is exceptionally cool. It's a Z51. It's the 8-speed automatic, which is cool because I haven't tried that yet. And it's bone stock, with the exception of their TVS 2300 Supercharger package. So basically, this thing is really cool. This is a prototype, so it's missing the Magnuson badge here, but otherwise it's 100% production. The air comes into the middle, is funneled through the screws, up and over each side into a charge cooler on either side, and then down into the motor. It's running 6 pounds of boost at the moment. Got some nice graphics here. And at 6 pounds of boost, it makes 510 wheel horsepower and 505 pounds of torque at the wheels. So pretty impressive numbers. It weighs, they tell me, less than 80 pounds. I don't have an exact weight yet, but less than 80 extra pounds. And usually if you see a car like this, it's got exhaust, it's got wheels and tires and blah, 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 your standard tuner car stuff, but only a Supercharger company would have a bone stock car with the blower. So we actually have to check the effectiveness of just the blower. You can see in the interior, it's pretty standard stuff. In here it has the touring seats, not the super sports seats. But otherwise, this is a stock C7. So this road is one of the great driving roads in California. I don't normally come all the way out here, but today it's worth it because this is a very cool car. It's worth the drive. And there's like nobody on the roads right now except for that Focus that's just caning it down the road. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go for a drive, and we're gonna see how the Supercharger affects the C7's performance. I bet it's good. All right, let's see how this thing drives. We're gonna go down the hill only because I saw some cyclists and closing speeds are much less going downhill than uphill. Again, this car is 505 at the wheels, which is about 100 horsepower, 100 pounds of torque more than stock. The blower costs $8,000, and frankly, I mean, I think that's a pretty good value. Similar setups for a car like the M3 E92 could be as much as 15 grand. I am in Sport right now. In fact, let's just go to track. All right, track, 8-speed auto. I'm going to use paddle shifters, of course. It doesn't feel like the Supercharger upsets the car's balance. It really, you don't notice the weight. Let's see. Well, you notice the power though, that's for sure. And I don't know if it's just in my head that it's louder, but it seems louder, but that may just be a placebo thing. Wow. As far as brakes go, they are stock except for pads and fluid because they use this car for track testing, and I'd recommend that. I don't think you need to upgrade the calipers and pistons unless you're doing something really crazy with the car. I haven't driven a C7 at all in about 2 years, and just getting in it reminds you how nice the car actually is. The Supercharger is pretty seamless. When you drive at low speeds in traffic, it is 100% invisible. You don't hear anything, you don't feel anything different, it doesn't idle strange. And then when you come out here and open it up, the mid-range punch of it is very, very strong. GM tried to sell us that this automatic gearbox is as good as PDK. They were lying, or I don't know what their measurement is, but you can feel it change gears, which is not something you can say about the PDK. However, I would put it in more or less the same category as the ZF. I mean, the ZF is a good automatic, and that's what this GM 8-speed is. I'm gonna run out of gear coming out of this. really good power. Oh, please keep me out of jail today. You do have to use the brakes. Oh, gravel. Oh, rocks. You have to use the brakes quite a bit more than before because you can get an easy 10 or 20 mile an hour extra just in between these corners here. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Gravel. You know, because Magnuson is the OEM supplier for the C6 ZR1 blower, the TRD blowers, you know, they know this stuff. They know how to make a product that will stand up to OEM quality and longevity, and these TVS blowers are good. When I get on the throttle hard, I get just enough of that supercharger whine to make me really, really glad it's got something up there. But off throttle and around town, it's completely seamless, this thing. Forget that with this car I don't actually have to wind it as high because it's got such a fat torque punch around 3 grand. I don't have to drop that extra gear. The dynamics of the C7 out of the box are really, really good. I tried to go down a gear there, but it wouldn't let me. It decided I should be in third, not second. This is one of those roads that is worth the drive to get here, you know? Oh, it's good. At the Shift Sector airstrip attack, where I recently emceed, just for reference, the Z06s with their 650 horsepower and all their aero mods were significantly slower at highway racing than the standard C7s with aftermarket superchargers. Now that could be for a couple of different reasons. This blower has more displacement and this engine has a higher compression than the Z06 engine. There's also, you know, a lot of aero drag going on to make all that downforce in the Z06 that these don't have. So in a straight line, the engine doesn't have to fight the air as much to get it going. That's not to say that the Z06 isn't worth it or this is better than a Z06. I don't think that's the case. I just think that if you happen to be racing your car on a runway, you do better with a narrow-bodied car without all the aero stuff on it. The steering feel in the C7 is really, really good. I mean, these guys, dynamically, they know what they're doing. And I can even live with this gearbox. I wouldn't buy it, but it's not what I would call bad. This car is so fast now that staying out of jail is a legitimate concern. Third gear is about right for most of these. The car really does retain its refinement. I mean, a lot of the unrefined nature of a tuner car comes from your suspension choices, how loud your exhaust is, do you take out the... Wow. Need some heavy braking at the end of there. The power is real. I mean, this is a lot of power in this car. And, you know, for 8,000 bucks, which is roughly, what, 13% of the price of a Corvette, 15% of the price of a Corvette, to get 25% more power out of it is a big deal. It's a lot. Wow. In track mode, the transmission downshifts acceptably. In sport mode, you can definitely feel it mess with the chassis as it downshifts. You can feel it buck a little bit, which is not something you can say about PDK. PDK is utterly seamless, regardless of what you're doing. Traction control kicking in a little bit there as we hit some bumps in the tunnel. I'm driving with it on. We're not toe-gaying the 33 right now, and this is a lot of power to find out you need traction control once it's too late. On a track, I would go off, but I mean, I don't know if the video is going to indicate as really as fast as this car is. It's a monster. Oh, God, that rock was scary. Oh, this rock's scary too. Oh, I split him. Man. It's all about the mid-range with the Supercharged V8 from 3,500 or so, 3,000 to $6,000. It's really just... you have to pay very close attention to your braking zones. I've caught a truck. Maybe he'll be a gentleman and let me by. That would be very nice of him. But our temperature is up around 240. Let me go air conditioning off. Maybe the air conditioning is unhappy with me. How do I go off? Off. There's an off button. Oh, off. There's off. I'll just use my cooled seat. Wow, maybe a little ventilation. With the glass roof, it gets hot in here very, very fast. Alright, so if you really cane it for an extended period of time, it seems the temperature will come up on the car a little bit. Hasn't overheated, but it's, you know, sustained high loads, high RPMs for 10 minutes or so is enough to bring that temperature up. And that's coming down. You know, the naturally aspirated car, oh, let me by. Really? The naturally aspirated car, you can run it all day, and it'll never come up. But once you start adding, you know, 100 horsepower worth of heat to the engine, it's a very hot day. It's 85 degrees outside today, and so, you know, you're working it. You're definitely pushing the limits of heat and of the car's cooling system. Can I get by? Maybe. No. All right. Well, I guess we've decided this video is long enough then. So, $8,000 for 100 horsepower on your car that behaves totally normally and gets a little warm if you really romp on it for more than 10 minutes at a time. Is it worth it? Yeah, probably. If you were oh, okay. Thank you, sir. If you're more of a track day guy, and you're really at the track all the time, I might say leave it naturally aspirated and avoid some of those cooling issues. If you're a street driver and you just want that extra punch, you know, for the road or for a canyon run, and it's not deathly hot where you live, I would say definitely this would be something that you might want to consider. This car's really fast. I mean, there's no question that this car is really fast. It sounds good too. Yes. Wow. Well, I like it. I think it's cool. And the automatic gearbox, you know, the 8-speed is certainly a huge improvement over the 6-speed. I genuinely feel bad for anybody that has an automatic 6-speed because it's just so much better now. I'd still go with the stick. That's just my impression. But, you know, Magnuson Supercharger, there we go. The Supercharger works. And if you want that extra punch and you're not going to really run at high RPMs all the time, yeah, it's worth $8,000. Check them out at Magnuson Supercharger's website. See you guys later.